The last few NBA seasons, the New York Knicks have been one of the laughingstocks of the NBA. Many fans, myself included, expected the Knicks to be absolutely abysmal this year, with the end goal being in the best position possible for the transcendent prospect Cade Cunningham. However, these New York Knicks are actually pretty good and are in a much better position going forward than they were at the conclusion of last season. Let's talk about how they got there. The very first step in the Knicks' success was revamping the front office. Getting rid of Steve Mills and allowing Scott Perry to take a backseat were monumental for success. James Dolan deserves an immense amount of credit here for strong moves with the front office personnel, bringing in super agent Leon Rose, taking a page out of the Warriors and Lakers books. Rose then brought in a juggernaut of a front office, starting with perhaps the most influential man in basketball, William Worldwide West Wesley. Wesley is an incredibly powerful man in the world of basketball, and you'll be shocked just how connected he is the more you read about him. The Knicks also executed the hirings of expert capologist Brock Aller, the mastermind behind bringing LeBron James back to Cleveland, who had a very clear effect on draft night, as did scouting guru Walt Perrin, who personally pushed for the Jazz to draft Donovan Mitchell, and Frank Zanin, who has an extensive background in roster construction. These hires, along with a whole new analytics team, set the Knicks up for one of their best offseasons in recent memory. The Knicks also hired an entirely new coaching staff. It obviously all starts with Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau, known for being a renowned defensive-minded drill sergeant who plays his favorite players extensive minutes. The Knicks also added their former head coach Mike Woodson to the staff, paired with both Larry and Andy Greer, as well as Darren Erman and Dice Yoshimoto. The two assistant coaches who have received the most praise are Johnny Bryant and Kenny Payne. Kenny Payne in particular has gotten lots of vocal support from players and fans alike. He has been instrumental in Kentucky's recent success, and with the NBA's new health and safety protocols requiring assigned seats, he is seated right next to Obi Toppin. KP has perhaps been Obi's biggest mentor, constantly pointing things out and teaching Toppin as Toppin watched the game suffering from his injury. Leon Rose got to work this offseason, starting with the draft. They started draft day with the 8th, 27th, and 38th picks. Early in the day, they traded the 27th and 38th picks for the 23rd pick. They initially did this in case Toppin was taken by the Cavs at 5 or another team between 5 and 8 in an effort to trade up to take him. However, Toppin fell to 8, and the Knicks were able to pull off some magic by trading the 23rd pick for picks 25 and 33. They were able to move up with both of their later picks for nothing. The Knicks took Emmanuel Quickly at 25 and intended on taking Duke big man Vernon Carey Jr. at 33, but he was taken by Charlotte at 32. So, the Knicks took Daniel Toro and quickly shipped him off to the Clippers for Detroit's 2023 second round pick. After the draft, the Knicks acquired Ed Davis and a salary dump from Utah in addition to two 2023 second round picks. Less than a week later, the Knicks shipped Ed Davis to Minnesota in exchange for Jacob Evans, Amari Spellman, and another future second round pick. The Knicks got themselves 3 future second-round picks for holding Ed Davis' $5 million contract for a matter of days. Evans and Spellman would later be released, but neither have been picked up at the time of this recording. The Knicks would sign Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, Austin Rivers to team-friendly deals, as well as bring in Jared Harper and Theo Pinson on two-way contracts. Now let's get to the on-court product. First and foremost, Julius Randle is playing at an all-NBA level. Tibbs deserves Coach of the Year consideration for that alone. Randle has completely bought in, looking much more to facilitate and lead the offense rather than to chuck up terrible shots. His defense looks much improved, and his entire approach to the game is completely different. He looks much more like a point forward now, as opposed to the scorer who could occasionally make a pass he was in previous seasons. The Knicks' defense has been among the best in the NBA, and the anchor of it has been Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell has been a whole new player on that end. It's obvious the coaching staff has drilled fundamentals and patience into him, as instead of trying to block shots, he's instead focusing on affecting them. He's fouling at a much lower rate, and as a result is playing so many more minutes. His touch also looks much improved, as we've seen quite a few soft finishes going towards the basket, which is something he hasn't really had in his arsenal in his time as a Knick. It was mostly just shots at the basket, not going towards the basket with momentum. If it weren't for Julius Randle, Kevin Knox may actually be the Knicks' most improved player. Last season, he didn't even look like he resembled an NBA player, let alone an impactful one. This year, however, Knox is shooting well over 40% from 3 on almost 4 attempts per game, despite only playing 20 minutes per game. This, paired with his clearly improved defense, has shown us flashes of the Kevin Knox we saw in Summer League. The Knicks coaching staff hopes Knox can continue to build upon this growth and truly expand his offensive game, hoping he can regularly drive to the basket and pull up for jumpers, and become a true 3-level scorer. Obi Toppin hasn't played much due to a calf injury that sidelined him for 10 games, but in the minutes he has gotten, his jump shot has been better than expected. Again, small sample size, but Obi is shooting over 40% from 3, with more than half of his shot attempts coming from behind the arc. We know shooting isn't even close to the best part of Obi's game, but due to the fit next to Mitchell, Noel, and Randall, Obi hasn't really been given the opportunity to do much around the basket and as a role man. We can't talk about the Knicks' success without mentioning Austin Rivers. Rivers, who shocked the NBA world by taking a small contract with the Knicks, has been the catalyst of multiple fourth quarter runs. It's safe to say that the Knicks don't win at least a couple of their victories without Rivers. He has been a huge spark off the bench late in games with his prolific shot making behind the arc and deadly jab step. Alright everybody, strap in. It's time to talk about the biggest surprise of the Knicks season, rookie sensation Immanuel Quickley. Quickley had a plethora of pre-draft concerns from both mainstream draft analysts and draft Twitter alike, but Quickley has been nothing short of impressive. He has incredible poise and provides a super dynamic spark on both ends of the floor. As the team's main backup point guard, Quickley has provided many momentum boosts which have propelled the Knicks to victory. Quickley was well regarded for his jump shot and free throw shooting ability, but his apparent lack of an all-around game worried many. However, Quickley's playmaking has been among the best of all the Knicks, and he's been a great defensive contributor. Quickley has swiftly become a fan favorite, and he's arguably been the most fun player on this Knicks team. RJ Barrett's scoring has been extremely up and down. He has stretches where he looks like a solidified all-star, and stretches where he looks like he doesn't belong. However, these shooting woes have not affected his confidence or his all-around game at all. Barrett's been one of the Knicks' strongest and most versatile defensive players, and his playmaking has provided another wrinkle to the Knicks' offense that has gotten them out of ruts. Barrett has also proven to be one of the better wing rebounders in the league, pulling down over 7 boards a game with multiple games with double-digit rebounds. These New York Knicks have shown multiple things that Knicks teams haven't had in almost a decade, and they've been the catalyst of this team's success. The first of these are the defensive rotations. This is the best Knicks team defense I think I've ever seen in my time as a Knicks fan. When the other team gets the ball or players moving, the Knicks are moving. The Knicks have been pulling stunts and digs to prevent drives and post-ups, and are rotating to cover the next guy over. This has been a big part of the Knicks' elite defensive numbers. The next big factor has been the ball and player movement. The Knicks won a good 6 or 7 years under coaches who didn't encourage a constant flow of the offense. These Knicks are moving without the ball, running multiple actions on certain possessions, and guys are sliding to the corners on drives or spacing out when a teammate is nearby. This has really opened up the floor for drives despite not having high-level shooters on the court. What's truly impressive is that they've largely done this without their best perimeter defender in Frank Ntilikina and their best perimeter scorer in Alec Burks. Ntilikina has been suffering from a right knee sprain, and Burks has been battling an ankle injury. They've combined for just 7 games, and they've both earned rotation minutes based off of their play. Burks has averaged 20 points per game off the bench, and Ntilikina has given strong defensive performances as always. But he has been drilling his jumpers this year, including a 4 for 4 from 3 performance against the Bucks. It'll be hard for Thibodeau to find a balance in the rotation, with at least 12 players deserving of minutes, and Thibodeau's reputation for strict 10-man rotations. With some of the Knicks' injury struggles, Thibodeau has had to rely on an 8-man rotation for a stretch of games. These Knicks have been the most fun Knicks team since at least the Porzingis era, perhaps ever since Linsanity, and we are grateful for it. They are currently 7-8, and they could very well end up among the bottom of the league or competing for a play-in game by the end of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. Either way, the Knicks are in a fantastic position for current and future success, as their players are finally starting to develop. They have 7 first-round picks in the next 5 years, and they're fighting and battling every game. The players obviously like each other and are willing to go to war with and for each other, and there's a level of trust there that is very clear on the court. This is set to be one of the most fun and memorable Knicks seasons we've had in recent memory, regardless of the outcome. Let me know what you guys are expecting to see from these Knicks. Will they bottom out and land Cade Cunningham or Evan Mobley? Will they be in contention for the playoffs? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, it's greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, subscribe. This is the first video on this channel, but expect more exciting content in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. This has been ISO Joe NYK, and I'm out. Peace.